So this is kind of a warrior project mission here. It's not only about the food leverage that they're using to control by creating the crisis alone, but the fact that targets have already been being predetermined to even continue having their lives at all, i.e., poisoning, i.e., directed energy weapons used on civilians with patents that prove it, that their use is directed at their own civilians. It's just the list goes on and on, from stingrays to monitoring spirits to 5G, the weaponry system that they're using through coercive control measures to be aided right inside of our own phones. So nobody wants to hear us unless they are silent supporters, basically, because nobody wants to get involved in a fashion that's going to suggest to themselves as though, I wish there was something I could do, but if I do something, then I might become a target myself. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants to place themselves into a way of thought process of, oh, if I do something to help this character out, then I might become a target myself. I might as well just stay independent and trust that the world will do the right thing when it's just not the case. If people allow for duress to continue being pressed inside of people's lives, they don't think that their lives are next on the list. They are, but that's neither being here nor there. So I'm going to mix this in with a little bit of the Charlie Kirk scenario where I totally agree that this warfare is creating patsies for their own menial gain, per se, but it's where the idea is that jumper, suggesting I had nothing to do with this crime. I didn't shoot Charlie Kirk. I wasn't a part of it, and he was telling the truth. It's just they were like, oh, we got our guy. Here he is. They, where the gun was determined in the shooting of Charlie Kirk, but then wasn't there also a gun placed or found that was an actual part of the crime itself, like in the woods somewhere that they found? Or how did that go? If someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I haven't been paying attention and digging into it completely because I've had my own situation going here where I believe that these stories are very, very much decapitating my availability for people to hear my story personally. So, either way, I'm not going to skip around and jump around the facts that what I think happened was that they created the patsy so that their shooter could just go on and get away. Not to mention, I think that these events could have been very much set up by his own life. Kind of like the whole theory behind Kurt Cobain. I don't believe that he turned a shotgun onto himself and used his own toes or whatever to shoot himself. I just don't believe that. I believe that it was an effort created through discontention of, what otherworldly ways would be in favor of certain female, presentively in L7 and Hole, the band, Courtney Love, to steal his fame and do the similar things that demons do when these people in the flesh don't want anybody, or these demons, I should say, in the flesh don't want anybody to do any better for themselves than they can get to. And if they represent somebody that can do anything better than they can, then they are working to like predetermine their lives and whatnot. So it's much like my own scenario where I believe brotherhood should matter to people, and it simply just doesn't for some reason. And in my situation, I believe it was just psychological abuse at such a young age that because they moved in a certain way, they just decided to continue to move in that certain way. But it kicked me up and down the streets of covert warfare, and all in a hidden way that I wouldn't have been able to see for it was until I discovered it from patterns, because no one's just going to come out and be like, oh yeah, I'm trying to poison you to death, man. But when you do see these signs and people do come out and say certain things, like, it was in and out of conversations daily, it was in and out of conversations weekly, monthly, yearly, you know, that, you know, uh, Jesse, for an example, was having a hard time finding rat poison. Why are you looking for rat poison? Oh, well, I just wanted to keep some around just in case there's some, vermin running around my apartment. Make sure that, make sure they're nice and taken care of. But he also insinuated at another point that, like, it was out of anger towards me or something that was like, oh, well, you wouldn't see it coming. What's that? Rat poison? What do you fucking mean by that, G? Like, obviously I was thrown off by a lot of his characterisms at certain points, and like the drawing of that line was when I was 17, him pushing me into the street, like pretty much like right after meeting him, like, dude, what was that for? No fucking reason to make me feel like that, G. Like, that was not just your ordinary brotherly aggression right there. That was something behind that shit. And so I was in my mentality, I didn't want this character in my life at all. Well, shortly after that, you're poisoned and you don't remember legitimately that setting inside of your mind. So it's a lot of these situations, just plenty for me to determine the patterns that were there inside of my own life. But if we could have moved in any kind of way to be stronger as far as manhood or within my own brothers as brothers are concerned, to actually have a brotherhood and be good to the heart, good to the nature of the heart, then that's what I would have wanted. But they were not ever trying to help me. They were just trying to suggestively do network marketing to not network market with me, but to network me. And so it was much like I was just being trafficked with all of their good showing, but very hidden in insidious intentions over my life, very covert fashions of wanting to suggest that they were going to be there for me, or we're going to move this way, or we'll figure it out. Like moving in Kenny, we'll figure it out. Get a job at Holiday or something. You can get an apartment or whatever. That was never the goal. It was just to see me to and through being worked out of myself and aiming to push me into homelessness. And I believe wholeheartedly that this homelessness was to aim at creating a problem for me to just go and sort itself out, because not only was Jesse coming far to get there to supposedly help me, right? But he wasn't actually helping me, you see. He was just moving in this fashion to be and keep me within proximity of this covert abuse. And so that I was being poisoned and waking up in that very new place, going and calling people like, I just don't know what's going on with me. I wish that I had some help to figure this out, because it's something more that I can figure out. that kind of thing. And it's really scary. It's really scary because you just don't have any of your uh, normal interactions, your normal uh, light or power, or the normal way that you carry yourself. It's just not there. It's just completely missing with your own availability of intention, or you're able to perform in that fashion. Like, it was like literally lifting up 30 of me every day in that place just to get out there, find work, find any kind of cash paying job. And then it was like making the place that I was living under as though like they had stipulation for me leaving because someone ratted me out for making too much money. Like, no, dude, I did not make too much money at all. The people that are making money are like through our signatures, signing away our nature so that they can collect general housing assistance money and not even giving us a $50 of that money for us. They're just taking everything home to themselves, and they say it's for the light bills and this and that while they got nice cars and big nice houses, and they skim off the top of all of the donations and all the Adidas and Puma and Gucci and name brand stuff that gets donated to the place. They're like, oh, I'll take this, that, and this is mine. Next person, I'll take this, that, and this. And then the homeless can go up in there and be like, oh, we got a flannel shirt and a pair of socks that have holes in them, and you know what I mean. It's just not the same treatment that you would otherwise think that you would get inside of a place that's supposed to be preparing you for charitable operation or charitable opportunities. So I think because I see these things for exactly what they are, they just hate me. They just can't stand me because, of course, you're just going to be furthering yourself into the targeting when you're able to see through the madness that manhood, brotherhood, livelihood, unity, as far as these things are concerned, and they're just not there. It's everything about dividing, everything about division and conquering their fellow man. And it's nothing to do with helping at all. It has everything to do with their own independence being so much more important than anybody else. Anybody else. No matter what you can do, no matter which way you can try to figure out from loose underneath this gauntlet of warfare type of thing. And maybe some people aren't even involved in the actual conspiratorial side of the hidden atrocity of the way people were literally placed inside of my life to be proxy warfare artists, but it's the fact that there was that, there is that, and they are very much embedded inside of the system, because to not allow a person to the record and suggest that if they open their mouth at all, that you're going to be held in contempt of court. Like, you mean you're threatening me with coercive violence through the coercive control that I'm like literally trying to open my mouth about within the court system that's supposed to discover the truth? I solemnly swear that I will tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I mean, but you're not even allowing me to even try to try to reach out for the truth. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Gee, come on now. There's so many things that are going on in the world today that's like telling me that they're creating this disaster for people to be starved out of their lives, be run out of their availability to have a roof over their head, and you know they with no how would you say, with no fault of their own, they haven't been able to grow food or make a sustainable income to sustain their own safekeeping as far as housing is concerned, as far as stable employment go, and as far as sustaining themselves financially for just the food alone. So it's not like they're not. It's not like it's like a, oh, this is just such a perfect time that we can instigate this food crises now in the world when we've been just targeting people relentlessly, and now that we got them into a certain position, it's just so much leverage that we have to make sure that we can push for the ID, the digital ID, so that we can introduce these social scores online, and if they start speaking out against us, we can shut them off, and they won't be able to buy water and bread with butter and eggs, or just whatever. It's like it's just a power hungry power grab, the same way it is like with the whole like, oh, let's create this guy to be a patsy so that we can let our shooter go run free. We can't let our real shooter be caught. No, we can't let the real shooter be caught for shooting Charlie Kirk in the fucking jaw. Like, are you fucking kidding me, G? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, they legitimately want to, like, target citizens, create proxy warfare, not allow them to the record, no truth being allowed inside of the courts anymore, it seems. You can't even report to these things, and then they're taking the coercive control of being able to establish you into a wrecked up life, and then through the wrecked up life, now they're going to institute for coercive violence, being that like, oh fuck, I'm already in a bad situation, and instead of like these people hearing me out for it for what it is, they're just going to be gaslighting me even that much further and instigating this violence in my life. Like, oh my gosh, I went from a bad situation to a whole lot worse of a situation, just looking for help from the people that I was taught in school that were there to help me. Oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? You know? And I guess, to each their own. If they're comfortable feeding their faces with spaghetti and that spaghetti was made with blood money, it's blood money. It's demons, like basically popping you inside of the oven with an apple in your mouth, pulling you out after an hour and a half or whatever, and you're nice and crispy. They're going to be like eating on your flesh. It's basically the same thing because you just don't have an availability of like living a sustainable effort of your own accord. You see what I mean? But I guess think outside the box if you can't relate to what I'm saying. Have an imagination, we're just having conversation here. That's all it's really about. So, for entertainment purposes only, no one needs to think like, I don't know, whatever. They can think whatever they want, I guess. To each their own. Either way, it's just I've been being poisoned up relentlessly from when I was a child. I had to learn through patterns of this abuse happening to me. I couldn't always see it for what it was. I thought I was just lost on myself and that I just didn't deserve love and I was just worthless and useless piece of person. I couldn't do anything right for myself no matter how hard I tried. And it turned from bad luck to worse luck to the worst luck in the entire freaking world where I felt like I was concerned. And then it was like, no, this isn't bad luck. This is actually something happening to you, not you happening to yourself. And it's all happening covertly, so you got something to discover here as far as a crime, an actual crime is concerned, because it's a crime to poison people up. It's a crime to murder somebody with a pre motive. It's a crime of espionage. It's a crime of proxy warfares and proxying your life with fakes so that they can instigate, bribery or money or manipulation or whatever, so that they can control your reality. That's like literally what I think is the most insidious part of it all, because it's not even allowing you to a natural standing of like finding a partner inside of your life. And when you do find someone organic that's like willing to actually be your true friend, their lives are determined. It's like, it's such a sick crime. It's such a sick crime. Literally, like, feeling the fear of my friend when my son got a hold of me was just a nightmare to me. So I'm like, oh my God, you mean to tell me that my own son's life could be in danger just for reaching out to me? Because he has every right to try and reach out to his father? Like, this has really gotten strange, G. So I'm like thinking, what in the fuck, man? I'm in a really dangerous position now. And sure enough, in the exact reverse order that my best friend Andy was set up, they tried to set him up. And he got into a car wreck. Says he doesn't remember how it happened, which tells me, like, okay, there could, hindsight being 2020. It took me a long time to think about this, but I'm like, yeah, I believe that he was poisoned by proxy, by a covert operator, and that's how it happened. He said he was being chased, so they poisoned him up, bled him into fear. He gets into a wreck, flies 20 feet out of the windshield, lucky to be alive at all. And it's the same type of thing that happened to me door dashing in a certain other worldly way. Yeah. So they're just setting me up left and right, setting up anyone that by proxy that's trying to help me. Like, so this is legitimately me, like, reaching out to the public saying, what do I do? What do I do? I haven't been able to live any little piece of my life in any organic fashion at all because of these covert operators being within a very controlled demolition of my life, of proxy war, covertly, being poisoned. I can't see fucking what's happening to me at multiple times. To then discover that I am being poisoned and I literally had to have just the muscle of every single last thing in my human spirit to hold on to just the fact they're trying to kill me. Who's trying to kill me? Jesse and Aurelia. Why are they trying to kill me? I don't know, but hold on to the memory and get home and write it down, because if you don't, you're going to lose this memory like you did all the other memories. Good grief. Good fucking grief. I was in just so much pain, so much turmoil, so much stress. And all because it's like, I just thought to myself, it's like, oh yeah, I get to finally be in a house after this many years of fighting homelessness in and out of homelessness. And I slept on the floor here and I slept on the floor there. And I was able to couch hop here, and I finally had some semblance of a bed here. And then, whatever, like, you're just going through the motions throughout your whole life, right? And then you finally get to a spot where you feel like, okay, I can finally relax, I can finally breathe, I can finally go forward from here. And I and my buddy Jesse, we're going to have some fires, we're going to go out to the bars, we're going to have some good food and good drinks and good communication, and this will just be fucking amazing. We're going to just go forward from here, and this is going to be so freaking cool. Like, I get to finally enjoy life after all this, working 150 hours a week here and there and fucking get out from under, paying the government back for all the insurmountable abuse of setting me up left and right. And yeah, I get to finally get out of this determination over my life and live a real life, at least a semblance of a real life. Yay. To find out, oh my God, they're fucking killing me. Good fucking God, man. All that fucking pain, all that anguish, everything that I had to go through to get out from under, and this is how they're treating me. And it was them the entire fucking time. Oh my God. Like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. How is a person supposed to even feel like they can, say their life is a 4x4 or a 6x6? How can they go up to that 6x6, take the tiniest little chisel and take out the tiniest piece of that board and be like, oh, this is my life. I'm going to run away with it now. I'm going to steal back this little sliver of my life and just run. Oh, great. That's just so fantastic. I can call this little sliver of my whole life as opposed to that whole big piece of 4 by 4 or 6 by 6 my actual life. Great. This is just wonderful, isn't it? You get to go live a very sliver of a life. Yay. Woo, yay. It's fucking garbage, gee. Garbage. Anyway, I'm out of here. Oh, I truly hate what life has produced out here for people being targeted and being in these proxy warfares, and just, it's garbage, gee. Peace out.